Hi everybody, my name is Nyree and I'm running an adoption support channel. I've actually got two adopted boys that we've had for many years that we fostered as well, and today we're going to talk about reasons why children don't like being on their own and also ways to help them. So I'm going to structure the video into two parts. I've decided that having a more chatty video, having my notes here is much better for me, and I hope you don't mind that. So grab a pen if you want to jot down some ideas. I'll put timestamps on the video so you know where each part is. Sometimes actually you can't completely stop children wanting to be stuck by your side, and I've come across children in fostering where no matter how much we would have been with them, it wouldn't have made any difference. They still would want to be right by your side. But it helps to explore these topics and issues. Attachment is about elasticity. So if you understand that children can pull further away from you when they're not fearful and they're not anxious, and lots of adopted and fostered children don't like that feeling of independence because they don't want to be alone, and that's because they haven't had that closeness from the beginning, and therefore they want that closeness now. And they could be 3, they could be 4, they could be 15, but they still want that closeness that they didn't have. These are the reasons why they really don't want to be alone. You are interpreting the world around them, helping them to understand the world in an emotional way, which is something that they may not have learnt yet. You are helping them to understand what people want from them. So if they have you nearby, then you're going to be able to interpret everything that goes on for them. They don't have to do that for themselves. And for many children that are adopted, that's an easier option for them than them trying to work out what people want from them. So that's my first reason why children want to stay close. My second reason is friends and relatives and family in their mind might let them down, and this causes them lots of fears and anxieties. You and your family member that you have in the home or partner will understand what their needs are and will intimately understand what they're trying to say when they haven't even said it necessarily. But friends and relatives, even close friends and relatives, may not understand that, and therefore the child gets that feeling of rejection when they don't understand that. So that's my second reason. So my third reason why they don't want to be alone is they may have too much time to think when they're alone, and when they have too much time to think, they get the trigger of feelings of abandonment coming back. I know from my own boys, they often don't even like being alone in their own room. They don't even like being alone anywhere. They used to not like even going out to the garden because that fear of abandonment and those triggers were just there immediately. And fourthly, there's still a chance in their mind that you may not be there for them. So as they're growing their attachment towards you, they've still had many rejections in the past, so there's still a chance that you may be taken away from them, that you might die, you might leave them, or they may be moved to another house. And that feeling, in my experience, can go on for years rather than weeks and months. And the fifth reason I have is when you're not with them, they don't understand that you can still think about them. So many children have an immaturity in the understanding of physical space. So the fact that you're in the kitchen or you're in the lounge and then they're in another room, they don't have the mindset that you could be thinking about them. So when you're not thinking about them, again, that breeds a fear of rejection, that you're not in their mind and therefore potentially they may not be loved. So these are the 5 reasons why children might not want to be on their own. So 5 ways that you can help your children, and these are just practical examples because I like to be practical, because I think it's all very well having the theory, it's all very well understanding what is going on with your children, but what about what you're going to do about it? So here are some ways. So number 1, during the activities, start nearby to them and then pull back after 5 minutes. So when you start something with your child, even though you know they can do it, so say it's bake a cake, start for the first 5 minutes to set them up, to let them know that you're there, and then leave them to continue with the activity. So by that way, you've built that little bit of attachment in, but you're also building in that sense of independence. Because what we do want to do is we do want to move them on from where they are. We don't really want a 21-year-old being stuck to our side, which we have to do everything with every day of the week. So we do have to try and move children on. So that's one way to do it. So number 2 is find activities that you can set up that require quite a lot of concentration from them, and then just check in on them and just see how they're doing. So they are meant to be playing on their own, but you check in on them and just make sure that they're okay, see how they're doing with their activity. And that way, normally what I find is that they will play for longer on their own, because they've just seen you a couple of times within that 15-minute period. Whereas if you never check in on them, then after 2 minutes they'll be out again trying to find out where you are. Number 3, encourage outdoor play. The outdoor environment has a stress reliever in a way that I can't even explain. So if you can find an outdoor space, even if you don't have one, try to get them outdoors, because physical movement will really help them. And you can still check on them in the garden space or wherever they are to pop in that little bit of attachment security back in there again, so that they don't think they're on their own. If they're a little bit older and they can go out on their own, then I'd encourage them to go to quick trips to the park or local shops, where you could start off doing those with them, and then you could pull back a little bit and give them the confidence to go and do something on their own. You could encourage friends and relatives to have them over to play and to sleep over as well, because that will build that trust, because they're going to go to the same environment. So say it's a relative, they go to the same environment or the same friend's house, or you have them over to play, and that becomes familiar. And anything that's familiar or routine makes them feel safer, as does the trips out on their own as well. So that could be ways of building in independent skills. It is a fine balance between nurturing their attachment and being close to them, and giving them that regression type parenting where you are happy to go back as far as they need to go to be close to them for the majority of the day. But there comes a time when you have to build in some independence, because there comes a time when they're going to leave home. There comes a time when they're going to need to be away from you. So it's about getting that balance of nurturing and independence thrown in. So guys, I hope that's helped you. If it has, then please take the time to subscribe by hitting the little red button in the corner of the screen, and I will see you on my other videos.